Testimony resumes in the murder trial of Gerald Goines.
He is the former Houston police officer accused of his role in the botched Harding Street raid. That trial is part of our ongoing multi-platform experience we call The Bench. Investigator Mario Diaz has been following the trial for us, joining us live now from the Harris County Courthouse. Mario?
Hi, good morning, guys, or good afternoon, I should say. Listen, day 4 is starting off like other days that we've seen thus far in this trial with a thunderous boom. We did have one witness for HPD's communications team come up there in terms of someone who can analyze the data on the telephones of Gerald Goines. He testified very briefly, but then you had the dramatic moment of the day, and that was Goines' former partner, Stephen Bryant, taking the stand. Personally, I did not expect this to happen this early on in the trial, but he came into the courtroom and immediately the focus was on him because everybody in the courtroom, with the exception of the jury, knows exactly what his role was on the day of that deadly raid. He had been partners for Goines for many, many years, and once it started getting into the testimony of the day's events, he actually broke down and started crying. The courtroom had to be cleared, and as a result of the courtroom being cleared, there was a recess, and then we just came back in the last 35 minutes. And what happened there was Bryant admitted that he saw former HPD Chief R. Acevedo give orders for officers in the area to turn off their body cameras. That was a development that we heard yesterday for the first time. And then it was revealed that Clemente Rhogena, a member of the squad of officers that went into the home, actually was wearing a non-departmental body cam on his uniform. Again, I want to repeat that because that's significant. He is wearing a non-HPD issued body camera on his uniform the day of the raid. We do not know if it was recording. We don't know of the contents of that camera. What we do know is that after he admitted to this, there was a break in the courtroom and the two sides came together to meet with Judge Veronica Nelson to discuss this. I want to bring in defense attorney Angela Welton, based here in Houston. A dramatic day once again here early on.
I mean, this case just keeps on giving. So for sure there was some drama today.
Let's break it down if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Bryant simply taking the stand early on and admitting that policy had not been followed to make drug buys through a confidential informant for quite some time.
Yes. I mean, he starts out laying it out, right? Who his partner is, Goines, and that they were close. They were good friends. They worked this job together.
They're supposed to make 2 officers and 1 CI to make the buy. He admits that sometimes Goines would call him and he goes, okay, good, I just want to know. It was in a sense to each other to know what was going on.
Yes. And that Goines would use Bryant in Bryant's name.
From there, we go to the part when he starts breaking down because of what he was testifying to.
Yeah, so that was something to see. You have this very large officer. Officer Bryant's at least 6'3", right. Large guy, tough-looking guy, as he begins talking about the shooting and him giving first aid. You can see he's reliving this moment, and he does break down, obviously feeling the feelings, having this post-traumatic stress of the time.
And he broke down because he was asked at that moment, why did HFD have to clean you off? And that's when he started breaking down. The jury, I should say, during his entire testimony have been laser focused on him and really taking notes.
And they should. I think Bryant's testimony could be the most important testimony of the whole trial.
And that's significant because of what we're seeing play out here. And in the last 15 minutes, a major bombshell.
Agreed.
First off, he acknowledged that former HPD Chief R. Acevedo ordered cameras, not one camera, cameras to be turned off. But then he admits that one of the members of the staff who was going into the Goines house, into the Harding Street home, had a camera that did not belong to the department, but that he had it on himself.
Yes. So let's break this down. First off, Bryant says the camera should have kept on going, but that of course they would follow what the chiefs told them to do, and that he saw multiple officers turning off their cameras at that time, and so preventing any further evidence on video being taken of the rest of the investigation as it unfolded.
And then the part about the camera that did not belong to the department.
All right. This seemed and was a surprise to me, and it seemed a surprise to
Everyone.
many. But Bryant testified when asked, did anybody on the raid team have cameras? Because we believed none of the raid team had cameras.
And to be clear, we believe that because HPD and its former chief, Art Acevedo, told all of Houstonians that none of the narcotics officers wear body cameras.
Correct. And so when asked specifically, he said there was an officer who wore his own personal recording device, and that was Officer or Sergeant Rhogena.
And immediately you had the courtroom and the jury moved out. They asked to exit the room because we had two sides, the defense and the state, coming together here to argue this.
So what it seems to be is that Bryant had told others before about this camera, that he had made a statement previously and that statement had been recorded in some way and provided over to the defense. But it seems like the defense was interested in where is this camera, and it looks like the state doesn't have possession of this camera.
I think everybody would like to see what is on it.
Absolutely. What would be more relevant?
Especially in this case, when you're talking about justice for the families involved, as well as justice being sought by the man who is the defendant. And that is what courtrooms and court cases bring. Two sides together, both hoping for justice. She's Angela Welton, again, a Houston-based criminal defense attorney. I'm Mario Diaz. We're going to have much more on this throughout the course of the day, but that's the very latest here at the courthouse. From the bench, Gerald Goines, Mario Diaz, KPRC 2 News.
Mario, thank you. The bench breaks down the details of this high-profile case. You can watch a new episode tonight on KPRC 2 Plus at 6:30.